Well, thank you guys and gals for jumping on the call with us today. This is John Terry with Vision Advisors. And I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to spend some time with us as we talk about one of the most important things in your practice, and that's getting in front of qualified prospects. You know, at Vision Advisors, we're not just about bringing you great product solutions and helping you solve the myriad of client problems that you see every day. We're as much focused on bringing you tools and resources that can help you grow your practice and give you the opportunity to get in front of new people and having the opportunity to expand your message and to expand your reach beyond just your current center of influence into other market areas that maybe you haven't considered before. Many of you that are on this call today, either watching it live or maybe you're coming in later on and you missed the live opportunity and you're now watching one of the recorded sessions that we have available. One of the things that we do for our producers is we have a unique program called Money2Market. And it's an opportunity for us to help pay for your marketing tools and resources that you may have. And one of our key vendors that we use in our Money2Market programs is Lead Concepts. Chris Weir has been a friend, and I've been at Vision for about 8 years now plus. And we've been having an opportunity to work with Chris during the entire time I've been here. Matter of fact, I asked him just before we started this how long he's been in the industry. These guys have been in the industry for 27 years, and they know what they're doing. So as Chris has an opportunity to really share with you what Lead Concepts brings to the table, keep in mind these are pioneers in the industry, and they are constantly evolving, constantly updating and refreshing what they're doing so that they can give you the best bang for the buck when it comes to using direct mail, using other tools and resources they have to engage with prospects and to get them to say yes to the opportunity for you to meet with them. So Chris, thank you for taking time out of your day to be with us, and I'm going to turn the call over to you. And if I see something you're talking about that looks really great, I may jump in, but the floor is yours. So take it away and let's talk about leads today.
Thanks, John. Yeah, I appreciate that. I've put together a program here I'm excited to show you and your team. We have developed a full circle program, a complete annuity program to include the seminars through direct mail, seminars through Facebook advertising to get people in the room, direct mail advertising leads targeted to the specific age parameters where we're likely to find money. True wealth. And beyond that, we even get into some strategies for folks that are using other means. So with that, let me start to take you through the slides, and I think you're going to see some things that are pretty interesting and unique. Here is a very simple, cost-effective way. A lot of people are going in this direction. Inexpensive. The more inexpensive a program is, of course, the more people that you can get this in front of. For us, we're a believer in putting the message, the content together, clean and concise. It doesn't have to be fancy, if you will. It doesn't have to be wildly expensive. This is another small postcard size that enables you to put these out in a first class format. When we can mail first class, the advantage there is that the post office is going to be easier to predict delivery. We know when we want to mail these. We want to mail these out 15 days before the seminar so that the seniors are getting them about 10 days before. And when we mail third class mail, which of course is not politically correct anymore, it's called standard mail, it just takes longer to get there. It's harder to estimate when the mail will deliver. So it creates some other challenges. And in doing the third class mailer with some of the items, you'll see here on this one, it's pre-sorted mail, which is standard mail, or in the old days we called it bulk mail third class. So a little bit more expensive here. If we do it first class, so we typically try to mail these 21 to 24 days before the seminar. We're going to have to plan further ahead when we're mailing standard mail. When we do it standard mail, this particular format can be similarly priced to the smaller size. Again, you lose some of that consistency and understanding when the delivery will take place for the post office. This is a popular format because it's still cost effective, but it introduces some of the color. Here we get into what a lot of people tend to appreciate, 8.5 by 11s. They stand out more in the mailbox. These are going to be obviously more expensive to get out. Really, if you look at the words and the content in general, it's fairly similar because the messaging tends not to change. It's just the format and how the customer is looking to get the message out. Here's another one similar, just full color. Utilizes a large envelope, 6 by 9 envelope, so it really stands out in the mail. Can be upgraded to first class, again, to create that timing, make timing easier. But most people, when they go to this format, they just agree to plan further ahead so we can mail it 21 to 24 days before the event.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah, John?
As you're having a conversation about these mail pieces that we've looked at, is there a rule of thumb that a producer should consider in terms of whether they want to use the black and white postcard that we saw first, or maybe the 2-color card that we saw second versus moving into full color? Are there any parameters, or can you give some idea to those that are listening what kind of response rates that we're getting on the various pieces so that they might get some idea of where it may make sense to mail larger quantities with, a black and white piece versus a smaller quantity with a full color piece? Any commentary you have there?
Absolutely. The big consideration there has to do with competition in your area, and an individual agent oftentimes knows what they're already seeing in the market. If they're seeing seminars being done by competitors and they're using full color mailers with pictures of restaurants, I'd go in the other direction. Again, it really has to do with content, not the shape and size. I expect to pull between 1 and 1.5% in terms of checkbooks in the room. If you've got somebody that's doing the small postcard inexpensively, constantly in your area, then we'd want to show one of the other formats. It's really a function of rotating what people are seeing.
So kind of trying to find that distinctive in the marketplace so that your piece is different than what they're getting from everybody else.
Sure, and even if you decide that maybe there's not a lot of people in your area, so we're going to start with the inexpensive postcard for the first year, roll through all your areas, but then we're going to want to switch that mail piece up and show something that looks different, something larger, something with more color. It's really not about how much you spend on the mail. It's about how many people are there to hear your message.
Very good. Thank you.
So that was the seminar program, and that seminar program, when you're looking at that, we're tying the Facebook seminar to that. So we do a direct mail campaign with any one of those mailers. We're pulling a certain set of people there to target by age and by wealth. But we're taking that same set of folks and attaching those names to those where we can find Facebook addresses. And we're showing that up on Facebook to match that. So for us, it's the direct mail campaign tied to the Facebook when we're trying to get as many people to your seminar as possible for an affordable rate.
And I know the producers that are using that combination approach where they're doing direct mail and then they're supplementing that with additional Facebook leads. What we've typically seen here from producers that are using direct mail is they end up, if they're typically putting 30 people in the room and then they add a Facebook component to it, they're putting another 10 to 12 seats in the room of people just as a result of combining those two campaigns.
Right. I don't have as much eyesight on that as you do because we're newer to the Facebook component, but we are seeing that it would be just a few more people added. We're not comfortable just doing Facebook today to fill that room for you, so we're doing it as a two pieces.
Very good.
When we talk about specific annuity mailers, trying to get you in front of them, whether they're going to You're going to call them, try and get them to come to your office, or you're going to be going out to their house to get a cup of coffee, sit across the coffee table from them. There are only a few annuity mailers I've seen in the last few years that continue to pull a reasonable response rate. This Maximize Your Social Security Benefits mailer is the highest puller in the market, and it's leaned to the 60 to 66 sort of age group, because that's when the decision is being made as to whether we want to take Social Security at 62 or stave it off for a higher number later. So this is a higher responding mailer for us, and it's one that I certainly recommend. The elder law leads have been around for a long time. This is my most commonly mailed straight annuity mailer. And I think that has to do with the fact that it's going to the older folks, and the older folks is where you tend to see more of the accumulation. Well, that's the difference between the two mailers, is the age parameter that these are going to. But both of them are going to pull in that 1.5 range, 1.5 to 1.75. And right here, John, is the newest. It's the newest approach. If annuity agents are not familiar with this, this is an important thing to understand. It's being done now already all over the country, and we're doing it for people. We tend to have a hard time seeing direct mail responses from the truly wealthy, but they do reply to Medicare mailers. And this initial enrollment is designed to go to people who are aging in to Medicare. So these people are 64 and a half, 64 and 9 months. And these people are responsive to direct mail regardless of their wealth, because everyone's looking to save money on their Medicare and understand what their options are. Well, it's a fantastic way to find an inexpensive lead that puts you in front of a senior, a high net worth individual. Well, it's one of the least expensive ways to do it. Takes us back to what I was talking about here, the Facebook seminar invite. So for us, we want to provide the entire program, whether it's going to be a seminar or a direct mail campaign. If you've got 20 or 30 people at your seminar and you're going to close 1 or 2 or 3 of those people, what are we doing beyond that to keep up with the folks who did not make a decision to buy? And for us, it takes us to the content marketing component. We are going to be pushing content to those people 2 times every month to stay in front of those people that didn't make a decision to buy at that moment. Oh, the feeling there is that these folks will have some sort of a life-changing event over the course of the next year or 2, rather than taking those leads and putting them in a box under the thought process that we're going to follow up with them later. We're going to follow up for you 24 times per year, every other week, so that they're seeing information coming to them that is information, thoughtful information that's designed to just kind of make them think. And again, the feeling there at some point down the road, one of these items is going to make sense to them that maybe they didn't think of. And they're going to think, of course, of you in the process. So underneath each one of these is a way for them to reach out and understand who sent it to them, and a page that they can go to so they can reach back out to the customer.
You know, Chris, this is fantastic, because for many producers, this is a missing element in their marketing. They pay for leads, whether it's seminar leads or direct mail leads that aren't tied to a food event or an educational event. And the folks that don't respond or, say yes and don't show up, many producers don't have an automated system for things like this to help them stay in front of and stay what we like to call here top of mind aware. For those of you that are on the call listening, one of the things that's important to remember when you're doing marketing, it's multiple touches that are required, especially when you're dealing with a new prospect. If we look at the industry studies that are out there, 80% of the people that are going to buy from you are not going to buy until they've been touched between 5 and 8 times. But the average financial advisor, according to the same studies, quits somewhere between 1 and 2 touches, and then they move on. Well, if 80% of the people that are going to say yes to you aren't going to say yes until you've touched them at least 5 times, and somewhere between 5 and 8 is that sweet spot, here's an opportunity to automate that. And as you're doing direct mail or seminar marketing or whatever it may be, it's a chance to continue those touches over the next several weeks to give them an opportunity, as Chris said, to say yes, because life happens and very interesting things go on. You find out that the granddaughter's pregnant and all of a sudden maybe they need to up the life insurance on their son so that he can take care of, now another baby. Maybe it's, another life event that they've had. They've gotten sick. They've had a change in their career. They had to retire early. All of these things, these key points right here keep you top of mind aware and can be an extremely valuable tool. And Lead Concepts is one of the few folks that I know that's doing this on your behalf. So again, this is another good reason to have a conversation with Chris and the team at Lead Concepts, because this can help you stay in front of those prospects that said no today, but they may say no tomorrow or next week or next month or 6 months down the road. So Chris, this is great.
Yeah, thanks, John. It's something we wanted to be able to provide. Most agents don't have the ability to do this. They don't have the structure in place to do this. So we can take it over for them and make it easy. And a lot of them do want it to be sort of response-driven, a call to action. And we're really looking for it not to be as much a call to action as a real soft touch and a true service ad that they ought to be providing to these folks to make sure they're thinking about the right things. And at the bottom of that, of course, they'll understand where it came from and who to call when that life event occurs, whether it's positive or negative.
Absolutely. And guys and gals on the call, going back earlier to one of the things that Chris was talking about with their seminar mailers, these guys specialize in the mail piece. They can build that piece around your message. If you have a seminar message that you're currently using that's working for you and you want to find a way to maybe get a better response rate, you've had an opportunity to hear some of the numbers that they're pulling with their pieces, they can help you design and modify a piece that can tell your story. If you're using one of the presentations that we at Vision have developed, then we can work alongside of Chris and their team at Lead Concepts to make this very same thing happen. And so you're not looking at using a cookie cutter one-size-fits-all PowerPoint that may or may not resonate with your story, your brand. They're able to take what they have and customize it to what you're doing and the audience that you want to reach. Now, Chris, if they've got specific demographics that they want to use, you guys have got the ability to adapt and change those metrics for the mailouts?
Right. We'll coach, and if I've used them before and I feel like, I've seen success with it or I haven't seen success with it, I'll be happy to have candid conversations with them. But in the end, it's their decision. Whatever demographics they want to throw at it are available. We can always pull any demographic out there.
Very good. And again, I want to go back to the fact that these guys have been doing this for 27 years. So they understand the industry. They've seen the highs and the lows of direct mail. They know what works, what doesn't work. The last time Chris was in our office, we were talking through kind of the history of direct mail and where we've seen the ebbs and flows. And one of the things I like about Chris's organization is they stay current with what works. And they put their money where their mouth is in terms of they will beta test and they will do some things to make sure that the pieces that they're getting out are connecting with an audience. And I think that's something that's extremely valuable. So, Chris, as we get ready to wrap up, anything else you want to add before we get ready to wrap today's session up?
Oh, I think the main thing for me is truly that least expensive way to do this through the Medicare campaign. There's no less expensive way to get a lead than that way and provide a service to a senior. And then beyond that, of course, you've added somebody to your client list that is wealthy and has entrusted you at this point.
Absolutely. And that's a good point, Chris. That's a different type of mailer than maybe some of our producers have done before. And maybe you're on the call and you don't do Medicare and you're saying, well, why would I want to do a piece like that? Maybe you partner with a local Medicare agent that they specifically do Medicare and that's all they do. And you share that lead. That producer goes in and writes the Medicare portion, and then you come behind them as the expert in, wealth accumulation or wealth distribution or whatever it is that you do, and you have an opportunity to piggyback off of them being able to place the MedSup, Med Advantage, whatever it is, building value there, and then adding on to that. So that could be a very unique way to do something different.
Certainly.
Chris, go ahead.
I see brokers that are doing just that. I also see brokers or individual agents that have enough structure actually hiring a Medicare producer in their shop just for that purpose. So it just depends on where you are in your growth and your structure, what it will handle.
Sure. And those that are listening to the call, they've got questions about how that's working. They're welcome to call you, right, Chris?
Absolutely. That's what I'm here for.
Very good. Well, Chris, I want to say thank you for being on today's call and really talking about what you guys do and do well. And that's helped to create those lead opportunities to get in front of a qualified prospect. You see our contact information there for Vision. If you've got questions for us, you see Lead Concepts information there as well. Let me again remind you that we have a marketing reimbursement program called Money2Market. If you want questions on and want us to explain how that works, give us a call at Vision. Go to our website, visionadvisorsinc.com. Take a look at that. Lead Concepts is one of our key vendors that we use in lead generation. And so this is an opportunity for you to use them. And through your production with Vision, we provide additional dollars above and beyond your compensation to help you pay for marketing efforts so that you can go use the guys at Lead Concepts to have an opportunity to get in front of additional prospects. Maybe you're doing a direct mail program right now for your seminars, and you want to see if Chris and the team there can give you a quality piece that can save you some money. They're happy to have that conversation as well. So, Chris, again, thank you for being on the call with us today. Ladies and gentlemen that were on the call, thank you for joining us. Feel free to reach out to Chris and his team directly. Just say, hey, John and Melissa and Randy and other Melissa. We've got a new Melissa for those of you that are on the call and you haven't had a chance to talk with her. We now have 2 Melissas in the office, both amazing helpers. So if you get a chance and you got questions, call us. Call the guys at Lead Concepts and say, I want to talk about direct mail. Whether it's seminar, whether it's just a direct mail to get a response and an appointment, you want to talk to them about this content delivery system they've got. They've got some amazing tools and resources that can help. So, Chris, thanks again for being on the call. Ladies and gentlemen that joined us, thank you for being with us. Feel free to reach out and let us know what we can do to help you continue to grow your practice.